and welcome back to my channel. So I'm looking a little crazy right now because basically I've got to the point of my makeup where I've done my brows and I've done my eyeshadow, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to film me trying out this foundation. I thought I would do a little first impressions of the Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation. Now I've seen this everywhere, literally every influencer that I follow on Instagram has been trying this. So I guess we should just jump straight to it because I'm dying to try this. So the shade I'm going to be trying today is number 5 Neutral. So this is actually probably a lot too dark for my skin tone today because I don't know if you can see, but usually I have quite a deep fake tan. Now today I have got absolutely zero fake tan on because I'm planning on tanning tonight and filming another video tomorrow. And I wasn't originally going to film this video today. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to film it and I'll be pale. So you're going to see a bit of a transformation from very, very fair English rose skin to a bronze goddess, but without fake tan. So we'll see how that goes. It's not going to match perfectly, but I'll take the product down my neck a little bit and just blend it in. And to be quite honest, I'm not really bothered because I do that on a normal day anyway. You know, like when you're getting to the end of your fake tan and you just think, oh, screw it. I'm just going to put my like darker foundation on and try and blend it in, and if it looks bad, it looks bad. Well, I quite often have days like those, so this for me is completely normal, but anybody who's watching this, just as a little warning, I usually have a lot of fake tan on, so I'm usually a little bit darker than I am today. First thing I'm going to mention about this foundation is, I think I've already said what shade it is, so it's 5 Neutral. So I basically just went for an in the middle shade, and in the middle of like my fair skin and my tan skin, because my tan skin is probably a little bit darker than this, but I have a foundation which I like to mix with my other foundations to make it the right colour for me. So I went for an in the middle shade, so it's not my normal skin tone, it's not my tan skin tone, it's somewhere in the middle. But the first thing which I will say which I love about this is when you take the lid off, it's got a pump applicator there, but the bottom of it is like a squidgy bottle. So you know, like, I hate it, and this is because I just finished my last foundation. We couldn't get into the bottle to like get the last bits out, and that is so frustrating. So the fact that it's got that like squidgy packet is just really doing it for me. So before I go any further, I'm going to use my, who's this by? Bobbie Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, because I'm obsessed with this at the minute. I bought it for my friend's wedding and I am literally obsessed. So what does it say? So it says, for your best healthy looking skin day every day. Long lasting, pollution defense, makes skin look more radiant. It's saying all the right things. Oh, here we go. Undetectable coverage. Improves the look of skin with each wear. Clinically proven results, boosts hydration. Skin looks plumper and smoother and makes skin tones look more even. So it's saying all the right things to me, like they are all the things that I want, but whether it's going to live up to that, I do not know. Although to be fair, like Charlotte Tilbury foundations are one of my favourite. So I'm just gonna, oh, I love this. I'm absolutely obsessed with the frickin' packaging. I love that, that made it so easy. So I'm going to carve out my brows first. So it feels quite thick actually. A lot thicker than I thought it was going to be. So how I tend to apply my foundation is I will just, it's different every time. Like every time you guys see me, I apply it in a slightly different way. But at the minute I've just been spreading it with a small brush over my skin to get the general gist. And then I've also been going in and carving my brows out just on the top. I don't go crazy because, to be honest, brows are kind of the bane of my life. I think they're one of those things you either love them or hate them, and I personally really do not enjoy that stage of my makeup, so when it comes to brows I just will be like, yeah, that'll do. So I'm actually surprised that the colour is not too dissimilar to my skin tone, which is a pleasant surprise because I honestly thought that this was going to be way too dark for me today. But this is like lovely. I can definitely see a glow in it. So I don't know if you can see when I move. There's definitely a sheeniness to it. And usually with these type of foundations where they say they're really radiant, I tend to think they're going to be quite like not great coverage, like light coverage and very sheer. But this doesn't feel like that at all. This actually feels like a really good coverage foundation. It actually felt quite thick actually. How many times can you say actually? Yeah, that colour is not actually too dissimilar to my skin tone. So that's good. A good guide for those of you that, you know, have fair skin. Even when I have really fair skin days though, I still like to have a bit of warmth in my foundation, which is why I won't go for the lightest of light foundations, because I just think they then end up washing me out. I like a little bit of colour, even if it's not quite the right match, if I'm honest. It looks really pretty. It blended really easily. The colour is great. The level of coverage I'm actually really happy with, because I don't like a really full coverage foundation. I like an in the middle foundation. A good example is, if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you'll know that I absolutely love L'Oreal True Match. It's my absolute favourite foundation, and I like using it on clients as well, because it's one of those foundations where if I can't work out, like sometimes you'll get a client that sits down and you think, oh, I don't know what foundation to use, and if I can't work out what foundation is going to be best out of everything that I've got, I always go back to L'Oreal True Match because it's just so reliable. And I would say that this is a similar coverage to that, except it's not as matte. It's definitely got a little bit of a glow in it. So this is going to be a really nice spring to summer foundation. What I'm going to do is I just found in my drawer, honestly, today's a good day because I just found in my drawer a Magic Away concealer by Charlotte Tilbury, a brand new one, which for some reason I don't put this in my kit, so I don't think I've just had excess left over from my kit. I think I bought this at some point and then just never used it. So it's brand new, and this is in the shade 3 Fair. So I'm going to use that today because, and then I'm going to use her powder over the top, number 1. Because I just think then it's all her skin products. So we've just got to get it out now. It's coming. It's coming. Has anybody seen that clip of, I mean, has anyone seen that? You're all gonna have seen the clip, you know, where Kylie's like trying to spray her Kylie skin bottle and it's like not going for ages, and Kim's like, cheap shit. Not that this is cheap shit, because this is definitely not cheap shit. Often with foundations, I don't love them straight away. But this has been like an instant love, to be quite honest. So as I'm dusting powder on it, I can feel that it's slightly sticky. So usually with my L'Oreal True Match, because it's got that matte finish to it, it sets, so then brushing powder on is really easy. I think because this has got a more glowy finish to it, a more dewy finish, I can feel that the brush is like really like going, like the product is actually setting the foundation rather than the foundation fully setting itself, if that makes sense. But it doesn't bother me, it's just, you know, just to note, just to let you know what the scenario is. I've added a little bit of shadow, so let's get on with bronzer. So typically I would use the Give Me Sun by MAC, but we're not going to use that today because I think it's just going to be too dark. Today is all about you, Charlotte Tilbury. So I'm going to be taking the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer. It's massive. If you are looking for a bronzer that is value for money, look how big this is. It's just so big. And this is a gorgeous colour as well. And I tend to use this when I'm not tanned because it's not as warm and orangey, even though I love to be orange. There's not a lot we can do about that. But when I'm feeling less orange or like more fair, I will go for this. So this is in the shade 2 Medium. So I will say that the bronzer didn't go on as smooth as I'd hoped. However, disclaimer, this bronzer is a little patchy sometimes. Like, I find that you have to over powder your cheeks to make sure that this goes on nicely. So I'm not going to say that this is the foundation causing this patchiness. I'm going to say it's the bronzer. It doesn't stop me from using it. I still love it. It just means that you have to like try a bit harder to work it in to get rid of the patchiness. But the colour is so nice. that it doesn't stop me from using it, but just to keep that in mind. But I'm almost 100% sure that if I had used my normal bronzer, my Give Me Some by MAC, that wouldn't have happened and it'd have gone on really smoothly. Right, now we're going to do a little bit of blush. I'm using a really old Estee Lauder blusher, which I can no longer read the back of, but I've been obsessed with this recently. I had it for so long I didn't use it, but it's just a really nice bright pink. For highlight, I'm going to be using the Pretty Little Thing Glow by Dolly Beauty. So this is really nice because it's got like this pink gold shimmer. It's absolutely gorgeous, I love it. And I've been using it all the time recently. I did actually do a review of these when I first bought them. I can leave it linked down below. But this is just really nice because I've chosen to go a little bit more pinky on the eyes. This highlight is really nice because it does just have that like properly pink undertone. So that is the makeup done. I'm going to go and sort my hair out and then I'm going to come back and give you an overall review of what I thought of the foundation. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Bye bye. I'm back. Okay, so I'm back and my hair is done. We went for a messy bun because I love them. Oh dear. I'll kind of do a close-up of the foundation first so you can see what it looks like. So it's been on my skin for about 15 minutes now. I would say, final review of the foundation, gorgeous coverage, perfect everyday coverage, not too heavy, not too light. I'd say it was definitely a medium coverage. Absolutely perfect match to my skin tone, personally, I think. So this was a shade 5 neutral, and to me this is literally the perfect shade for me being fair now. So I will probably end up buying a slightly darker shade for when I'm tanned. I'm really happy with how everything else laid on top of it. It took to other products really, really well. Sometimes that's where I get a little bit scared with foundations. It definitely has a more dewy finish to it because you can see that my highlighter has really stuck to it well. So I've got this really intense highlight going on, which I'm obsessed with, which I tend to only get from, I can get an intense highlight with the L'Oreal True Match, but because it's matte, I don't get it as good as this. So this is a good telltale sign of a foundation which has got that dewy finish to it, which I really, really like, but it's not overly dewy. So when I'm saying dewy, it's literally like a hint of dewy. It's not like NARS, it's not like NARS Sheer Glow, if any of you have used that before. That's quite a more, it's a little bit more watery and more dewy, like that actually feels wet on the skin. You could tell that this did settle and set a little bit, but it just didn't set completely without the powder over the top. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit now because I feel like this is so close. So in terms of price, this foundation retails at, this one, it actually retails at £34. So it is a more expensive foundation. Do I think it's worth the money? Yes, if it's within your budget, if that makes sense. So I think if you're looking to splurge on a nice foundation and you want to spend a little bit more money, then yes, go for it. It's lovely, it's amazing. I will definitely be buying it again. I'll probably buy it in a few shades darker. However, if you're just looking for a really good foundation, I wouldn't necessarily rush out and buy this one just because it's £34. That's not cheap, and I think that there are other foundations cheaper than this which are just as good, like L'Oreal True Match. I feel like I've mentioned that a lot, but it is one of my all-time favourites and it's really not very expensive. So, well, in comparison to other makeup, it's not very expensive. So I would almost be more inclined to go out and buy that than over this if you're working with a budget. But as I say, if you're wanting to splurge or you're wanting to try, I think this is definitely my favourite Charlotte Tilbury foundation, easily, out of all of them. This is the first one which I've put on straight away and thought I love that. Some of the others, I have liked them, but I've not been dying to go out and buy another one, whereas with this, I think I might be going out and buying a few shades darker today because I did really like it. But I probably won't be wearing it every day. Even though it's like, it's really nice as an everyday foundation, but £34 as an everyday foundation to me is just too much money. I work outside. I've probably not talked to you about my job before, but I work outdoors on construction sites. So the last thing I'm going to be doing is wearing a £34 foundation to a construction site. But it would be a lovely special occasion. Do you know what? This would probably be really good bridal foundation. Actually, any of you that are going to be doing your own bridal makeup, I would probably recommend getting this, because I think this will be really nice, and I think it will photograph really nicely, and it will still make you look like you've got skin. Because that's the nice thing that I'm looking at here is I'm really fair. So when you're I'm really fair right now. So when you're really, really fair and you put makeup on, you can usually see it. So you need to be a bit of a lighter hand. But with this foundation, I don't feel like, oh my god, I'm really fair and now I've got like orangey foundation on. So I think this is actually really good if you're a natural bride wanting like a really natural finish that's still got coverage. I think you'll really, really like this. So I hope today's video was a little bit helpful and it gave you a little insight into what this foundation is like. As always, if you've got any questions whatsoever about this foundation, about anything else, just leave them in the comments and I will try and get them answered. And if you have got any video suggestions, please leave them in the comments as well. I do have a few videos filmed already, which you will slowly be seeing being released over the next couple of months, so hopefully you enjoy them. But yeah, it's so great to be back, and thank you for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!